America, where everyone has a voice, but too many fail to speak. Too many don't know the foundation of our nation, have never read the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or the Articles of Confederation, and fail to end up in a voting booth. It's time for change. Welcome to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin, a platform for young America to voice their ideals and have meaningful dialogue on politics, economics, and social issues. Connect at thevoyatampabay.weebly.com. Now, the host of the Voice of Young America, Justin Austin.
On the day of the shooting, I got my camera and got on my bike and rode as fast as I could 3 miles from my house to the school.
So yesterday I was in my AP Environmental Science class.
That I go to Stoneman Douglas High School.
Welcome to the Voice of Young America, where contradictions don't live. All right, today we're talking about the anti-gun movement, and you just heard a clip from Mr. David Hogg, who's been celebrated by liberal media as a leader in this anti-gun movement. We have one of our listeners, young American Robbie, on the line, and let's just start here, Robbie. What are your thoughts on that clip you just heard?
Well, I'm actually I'm pretty concerned about that because I was believing what I was seeing on TV, so I am absolutely disturbed by hearing a contradiction by the man himself.
Yeah, it's different when you hear someone talk about it, but when you hear it with your own ears from the horse's mouth that his stories don't line up. But if the story can be so mixed up like that, how can this gentleman be at the top of this movement? How is this allowed?
I can't answer that question. I do think there might be some criminal activity happening with false information misleading the public, and somebody needs to look into it. I don't think it's just him. I think somebody's organizing this, and these pieces need to be put together. Somebody just needs to really take a look at it and make a rational decision if we're being manipulated here.
Well, fake news is quite prevalent nowadays. It's more prevalent than real news. With that being said, what are your thoughts on this anti-gun movement?
Anti-gun is anti-constitution, so it seems like there's some anarchy going on here. Any criminal organization or fraction is always going to go against the laws of the country. So it doesn't matter if it's state laws, local laws, or if it's federal laws. So it seems like they're campaigning here against a certain law, and they're trying to justify it in their own minds.
Well, it seems quite subversive. One of the blogs that was just dropped today on the Voice of Young America, go ahead and check that out, guys. Subversive actors. And I think this character, David Hogg, along with probably every anchor at CNN and MSNBC, should fall into this category, which is, all these people who are trying to subvert what we have, which is called the Constitution. The Second Amendment, the First Amendment are really under attack today. It's really being pushed under by these people who want to spread this message of love. That's what it seems like, right? It's love and tolerance and all these things, but it's really what they're doing is they're using those values of love and tolerance, and they're using that as a cloak for their subversive mission.
Absolutely.
Now, so can we take it that you are actually pro-gun? You're a pro-gun guy?
I am, absolutely, yes.
And what puts you on that side? Why is it that you're on the other side from not just David Hogg and his hypocrisy, his contradictory statements, but why are you on the other side from the anti-gun movement? What is it about it?
Because I support the law. I'm a law-abiding citizen, so I think it's my fiduciary responsibility to be an example for other citizens to follow. That's where I stand with it.
Well, I'm on the same side as you. First things first. You got to be American, to consider yourself American. And what does that really mean? Well, that's someone who actually believes in the Constitution first. Because America is a system of laws, and these laws are predicated on the supreme law, which is the Constitution. And if you are American, just like if you say you're a Christian, but you follow the Talmud, you're not a Christian. You know what I mean? If you say you're American, but you follow Karl Marx, you're not an American. You know, you're someone who lives in America and but doesn't believe in American values, and that's what we're seeing. What are your thoughts on how our politicians are handling the anti-gun movement, are handling the tragedies that have been going on, or just handling the gun issue as a whole? What are your thoughts as a young American?
I think there could be corruption going on involved, and also that needs to be looked into. Criminals are blue collar and white collar, so it doesn't matter if you're ripping someone off or installing doors, or if you're trying to do some kind of Bernie Madoff. I do believe that we do have criminals in Congress, and they're acting against the American people's wishes, belief systems, and a way of life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One of the things that's near and dear to me when it comes to this gun issue is that we actually see the limitations of the law. And we see how the Constitution has to be supreme. You cannot make any law that's repugnant to the Constitution. And to me, when you start saying, oh, we're going to switch the gun laws, now you can't be 18, you have to be 21. Is that unconstitutional? Is that really a state's right? Because these things become so technical. The fact that I'm okay with more guns in school by people who know how to shoot guns. That doesn't offend me. More Americans being offended, that means more Americans being armed is exactly what the Constitution supports. I'm not against that. More people being able to defend themselves or defend children, I'm totally for that. What I'm against is that when people say rifle, they don't say rifle, they say assault rifle. And you know what I mean? It's not an assault rifle. It's a rifle. It's a rifle. It's not an assault rifle. It's these things that they start attaching and using these words to condemn without even making seem like you're saying something negative. You already are. When someone says assault rifle, you think about a weapon that just destroys people, innocent people. That's what people get from assault rifle. You know what I mean? It's a difference. And what we're doing is we're putting guns in this bad category. At the same time, we're saying we're really Americans. You can't do both. It's nothing wrong with guns. It's something wrong with the hearts of men. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I would definitely agree with that. I believe that there's some type of in the back hidden from the rest of us that's kind of coordinate this, because it's a little too organized. This isn't just a bunch of high school students running loose, or some colleges. They're actually well funded. I mean, if you looked at the signage and the things of that nature and how they're getting to these locations, their parents aren't paying for that. So this is well funded by a group. The group needs to be brought from the shadows to the light. That group needs to be held accountable for, one, probably anti-American they could be enemies of the country of some sort, not a Russian collusion type thing, but there is a possibility of an infiltration going on, and it needs to be looked into. So there's corporations and organizations that are funding these kids and these agendas, and that needs to be looked into. Somebody needs to really take that serious and find out who's doing it, because David Hogg, he's a 27-year-old person in a high school. There's a website out that has his information, his arrest record, if you look him up, and the only difference is his middle name. What are the chances? I mean, ask any mathematician, what are the chances of a person in the United States to have the first and last name the same and actually have some type of identical features like the broken nose, the earlobes that are attached? I think that probability is low. So that needs to be looked into. I think there's a lot of things here that people just need to start researching. And there's a guy who's doing just that, and that's you. You're bringing this to light. So I think that your viewers and your listeners should consider Googling some of this information or researching some of this information and start sharing it with others, because it seems like there is a defrauding fraction going on. They're trying to scam the American people out of its way of life and traditions. Not only are they trying to subvert the Constitution, but they're taking away the traditional family and household and how that's run, and they're trying to take away the way we interact with our relationships with others. So
it's happening on many levels, brother. I totally agree. And we want to thank you for calling in today, Rob. Appreciate you taking the time to come speak to us. We'd love to have you on the program again. You have a blessed day, brother. Thank you.
Bye.
Well, folks, that was Robbie. We appreciate him calling in. Young Americans are always welcome to speak on the show. And just to hit on more, just to delve into more what he was saying, I like the thought process of what's really going on with these subversive actors. When you have people who wear that broad and bold shield of being an American citizen, whether they're a politician or average American or someone by the name of David Hogg, you have to actually look into it. It's funny that you say, that I say that, like someone can just say he's an American and we say, oh, okay, yeah, you were born in America, and we just let it go. But is that all that it takes to be an American, just to be born here? How about to share the values? How about to believe in the Constitution? Is that required to be an American? Because we have this hodgepodge of so many different cultures here in America. But one of the things that we all have to hold dear to is the Constitution. That's what puts us on the equal playing field. One of the reasons that the Constitution was made is so that we could be led by a system of laws instead of by a person's will or a group of persons' will. That's why it's a land led by the people. So if you don't have this common ground, which makes everyone equal, that's why people don't like when celebrities get off the hook for committing crimes or politicians get away with doing 30 things. They feel like all men are created equal and all men are observant to the Constitution. But what about these subversive actors who are trying to manipulate the relationship that we have to the system of laws that's made us great? When people are trying to subvert the Second Amendment, when people are trying to subvert the First Amendment, it's okay to say exactly what you want when you want, as long as it's a liberal message. One of the biggest things that we have going on, they talk about bullies. Who are the biggest bullies? The anti-gun? Those are the biggest bullies, because if you say you love guns, you get booed or you get treated a certain way. If you say that you're pro-family or you're pro-life, you get treated poorly. The First Amendment, it's only protected by liberals, right? If you have a liberal message. Well, the liberal message is anti-gun. The liberal message today is that the Second Amendment is not respected. It shouldn't be respected. We should be rewriting the Constitution. We should be changing the way America is set up. And we shouldn't, because America's set up a great way. It works, people. It really works. And when you have teenagers speaking out, that's totally, totally awesome. I'm so supportive of young people speaking out. I'm a young person. I like to still think at 30, and I'm speaking out with this radio program and all the other things that I do. But if you're speaking out and you're being led and manipulated in the background by talking heads or by people with an agenda, that's totally different. There's no strings attached to the voice of young America, but there's surely strings attached to the anti-gun movement. There's surely strings attached to whatever David Hogg and those people in his camp are doing. It's been proven. Contradictory statements on what's going on. This guy just wants to be in the spotlight. CNN doesn't matter what the truth is. They just like the fact that this kid brings ratings. And his father, who came on TV with him, God bless him. I don't know what type of parenting that is. But the anti-gun movement is subverting the Second Amendment. If you don't see it, you don't believe it, just go out there and get some facts, man. This stuff is the truth. This is the voice of young America. We're going to keep talking about guns. We're going to keep talking about what the things that are matter. We're heading to break. We'll see you when we come back.
You're listening to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Watch what happens on the Voice of Young America YouTube channel. The Voice of Young America on AM 860. The Answer.
Finding skilled and unskilled tradesmen can be a problem, whether it's temporary or long-term. Rose Employment Solutions handles all of your workers' comp needs while responsibly solving your staffing problems. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. And for the quality tradesmen in search of career growth, full-time hours, and multiple pay options, call Rose Employment Solutions, 813-644-5037. Learn more at rose-emp.com or just stop by their office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard in Tampa. I'm Justin Austin, host of The Voice of Young America. When it comes to complete auto repair and fast service, check out the pros at Autoland Center, 1308 East Bush Boulevard in Tampa, providing professional quality work on all American-made and foreign car models. Great pricing on complete auto repair services, oil changes, and brakes. Autoland Center at 1308 East Bush Boulevard, where experience and good service go a long way. Call 813-764-7891. That's 813-764-7891. Autoland Center. I'm Justin Austin with the VOYA. Do you like the vibe of downtown St. Pete? Wish that was in your neighborhood? Now it is. Check out Cafe 46 in North St. Pete. Great food, beer, and games with an artsy and vibrant atmosphere. Paintings from local artists. Grab morning breakfast, choose a sandwich off the lunch and dinner menu, or just have a drink and play some pool. Cafe 46, that's 6774 North 46th Avenue in St. Pete. Or check out cafeon46.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin by email, thevoyatampabay@gmail.com.
Welcome to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. Thank you for tuning in to our first section. We want to give a shout out to our sponsors at Rose Employment Solutions. You make the call, they do it all. Give them a call, 813-644-5037. Now, let's get into the moment of truth. And the truth is, Donald Trump isn't bad. I know. Please stop throwing banana peels at me. Donald Trump really isn't bad. He's not that bad of a guy as president. What he is outside of that, yes, a lot of people can determine. A lot of people can make their own statement. But the guy isn't bad. And you know why? Look at America. America is on track to do better. Financially, on track to do better. The trade deficit will be on track to be minimized. Government regulations have been cut down. Economic activity has grown. When you judge Donald Trump as a president, don't try to look at him like you look at your neighbor. Because we know we judge everyone. We have these personal thoughts on what we think people should be or should do within their positions and Judge him based on presidential standards. Does he get a high mark in the areas of extreme niceness or extreme articulation or diplomacy? No, he doesn't get a high mark. But does he get a high mark for moving our country forward? You darn tootin' Fig Newton. Does he get a high mark for economic activity? Darn tootin' Fig Newton. Does he get a high mark for being a patriot president? Darn tootin' Fig Newton. Does he get a high mark for representing the military? Darn tootin' Fig Newton. These aren't things that you can debate. These are factual statements. The truth is Donald Trump is a good president. What you think about him as a man, we're all fallible. It's many things, but he is a good president, and that's the truth. Now, getting to our next segment, we're going to be talking about cryptocurrency and the lack of love for cryptocurrency. What's going on? So you got Facebook not showing cryptocurrency ICO ads. You got Google knocking everything off knocking all advertisements and such relating to cryptocurrency and ICOs come June. Reddit's been blocking it since 2016. And then you have other social medias like such as Instagram and Snapchat who are not showing any love to cryptocurrency either. Now, let's go from the view of why are they doing this and why should we support it to a certain extent. there has been a lot of fraudulent things going on in cryptocurrency when it comes to ICOs. There's a lot of people, not a lot, let's take that back. There's been a certain number of people who have been doing illegal activities, not just on the black market with cryptocurrency, but those who are bringing out these pyramid scheme or these guys who are coming out with these fake ICOs just to get money. I totally agree. But isn't there scam in everything? What market doesn't have a scam? And the church is in the market, but in America, it definitely is. So let's call it what it is. And in American society, the church is considered a business. And how many scams are going on in the church? But are we shutting down churches? Are we blocking out churches? No, because they say most churches are good standing people who are doing good standing things. There's just some bad actors, like the pastor who was caught swindling like 1.5 million from his parishioners recently. Now, so with that being said, why is cryptocurrency treated like 75% of are all bad actors? No, 75% of all media is mostly bad actors, mostly fake news, but the media still gets a pass. So why? But okay, let's look at it. Let's keep supporting that point, though. That their point is that there's ICOs that's coming out as fake, that's taking people's money. So now they're going to help the world be a better place. Yes, you got it right. The place where you can go and see all people's personal information, things that don't matter, things that are just brainwashing people, things that have no substance to this earth. They're trying to make sure they keep people from getting swindled from ICOs. But it's okay to help people see Instagram models or help them be lustful, help them be a lack of faith, help with the lack of family. It's okay for them to do that. But if someone might actually make some money or someone might get swindled, then that's a problem. It doesn't add up. Social media is not there to better the lives of Americans. Social media is there because it is a financial tool for the likes of Facebook, billion-dollar company, likes of Instagram, billion-dollar company, likes of Snapchat, billion-dollar company, Google, billion-dollar company. So when Google says, oh, in June, we're going to be stopping all ads for cryptocurrency and ICOs, but ask you this, why is Alphabet, the parent company of Google, exploring their own blockchain? Don't worry, I'll wait. You smell that? It smells like hypocrisy. Oh, you think Facebook's not going to come out with cryptocurrency soon? It smells like hypocrisy. Don't be stupid. Don't be fooled. What these people are doing to you is manipulating the heck out of you. So I'm going to give you a broad picture, right? So what they do is they block out the cryptocurrency. And when all these social media platforms and Google and other type of sites, when they block out cryptocurrency, what they do is they tell you why. They tell you that people are doing scams within cryptocurrency and that they're trying to be really good companies and they're trying to protect you from fake ICOs. That's what they tell you. So then you get a bad taste in your mouth of cryptocurrency, especially those who don't know anything about it, but or those who only know about headlines and sound bites, which is most of Americans. So then you have these big respected companies that people use every day because there's how many monthly users on social media as a whole? Billions. Okay, let's go back to these companies who are reputable that are being used every day by billions of users are saying that we're not going to display any of this stuff because these people are bad actors. So then it creates a bad taste in their mouth for cryptocurrency. But guess when the good taste will come back into your mouth? When these same institutions that are blocking cryptocurrency, when they come up with their own very own. When Alphabet comes out with their very own cryptocurrency, then the cryptocurrency is good again. When Facebook comes out with their own cryptocurrency will be good again. And if you think I'm being ridiculous, just read the news. And don't read Fox News. Don't read CNN. Don't read. Just go in and type into your browser, Google explores blockchain. Type in Facebook explores blockchain. I'm not telling you something that you don't have access to. These people manipulate you because you are sheep. That's what they do. I just gave you the whole scheme. They block it out, say it's bad. You respect them because you use their product every day. Then when does it become good? It becomes good when they can profit from it. And guess who they're going to profit from? You. Because guess whose ads you'll see? Oh man, this gets sweeter and sweeter, right? So they took out net neutrality, which made the market, people say, more competitive. It made the market more isolated. So when you have companies like Facebook who are saying they're going to start blocking content, right? So we're blocking content that we don't feel that our community needs, respects, is in conjunction with the values of the community. They get this and do that at arbitrary discretion. Now, once they get to do this, what's the next step, right? You blocked out all your competition for what purpose? They weren't, my competition really just didn't align with the values of the community of Facebook. So we blocked them out. We don't want you to be pestered by that cryptocurrency, that new ICO coming out. We don't want you to be bothered by Weebly.com on Facebook. We don't want you to be bothered by anything that's a competition of Facebook, but we're going to label it. What we're going to label it as something that's negative. That's what Google and Facebook and Instagram is going to do. Now, watch this on the backhand. This is what they call it. Now they're really smooth at this. They're going to tell you it's bad until they can make money off of it. And then it becomes good. I am being prophetic, people. I tell you no lie. Facebook, Google are going to come out with their own form of cryptocurrency. And guess where you'll be able to use it, right? On Facebook. Guess where you'll be able to use it? You'll be able to use Google cryptocurrency to pay for your Google AdWords and your Google AdSense and to pay for your subscription to this, a subscription to that. This is the future. You think these people are getting away from cryptocurrency? You know how many banks are investing? Okay, let me do this right now. If you look right now at any major bank, right, most of them will tell you that cryptocurrency seems a little shady and that you cannot do business in cryptocurrency with their institution. Now, if you go into the portfolios of these major banks, I guarantee you the same ones who said that they won't do business with cryptocurrency within their institution is investing in blockchains that already exist or that will exist. I even guarantee you there's already big banks that's working with Google and Facebook to build their own blockchain, and they'll have exclusivity when Google comes out with their own blockchain. This is not a game, people. There's nothing wrong with cryptocurrency. Is there bad actors? It's bad actors in every market. But the real manipulation is by those who are in power, who want to influence for you to walk a certain path. You're a product. You are a product of whatever they make. That's what happens. You know that sheep, when they say sheep follow blindly, that's not accurate. This is what sheep do. Sheep follow like the hip of the sheep that's in front of them. That's what they do. So one is always leading the other, and depending on, how the front of the pack and the back of the pack is moving, but that's how sheep move. And look at you. You're moving according to the sheep in front of you. But how is that sheep being led? It's amazing that they can do this to you. They can't do it to me. I'm way too informed and active, but they do this to you because you scream for it. One of the things the good book teaches, and this is in Proverbs, like the first 6 chapters in Proverbs, it talks about wisdom and understanding repetitively. And what it says about wisdom, it says that wisdom is calling out and screaming towards you. But it also tells you that it's this woman who invites men into her home because that's where death and hell is. You have two people screaming at you. You have the truth screaming at you. You have fake news and manipulation screaming at you. One has a really sexy dress on, and one has just a cloth on saying, I'm just pure. I'm simple. I'm me. And you're going for the sexy lady. The sexy lady leads to death and destruction. Fake news, death and destruction. Manipulation, death and destruction. Contradiction, death and hypocrisy, death and destruction. That's where you're moving. And it's easy for you to move there. You know why? Some call the Overton window, which we're going to discuss in our next section. But to give you an understanding, what happens is that they gradually move extremes upon you until they no longer feel like extremes. Look at things that you do today that would have been ridiculous 50 years ago, and not because they would have been ridiculous based on they weren't the current fad. They would have been ridiculous based on values. People could not pull the wool over your eyes as easily as it is today because you were more informed, involved in your family, community, and your country. Now, you're more involved in Kim Kardashian, Bruce Jenner, a.k.a. Caitlyn Jenner, a.k.a. identity disorder. They get you because they've gotten your value system. If you want to know how Facebook can slap you around, oh, you know what? You want to know how Facebook has over 2 billion monthly users because you have no value system. You know how Jeff Bezos' net worth jumped $10 billion or dropped $10 billion within one day? Because you have no value system. You don't even understand that. I'm speaking over your head right now. You have no value system. When that happens, you can be moved any which way. That's why they say a man of faith who's grounded in faith can't be swayed with the wind, because his faith is like being planted among rocks. I can't teach you to be someone else, but what I can do is just try to activate the value system that may be left with inside you. You're being moved like sheep because you want to be asleep, or when you're awake, you want to be with that sexy woman that's providing fake news and manipulation. It's really so deep, man. Check out the blogs, check out the after show videos. It's so much more we have to discuss. There's not enough time on the program. We're going to our commercial break. The Voice of Young America, Justin Austin. We'll be right back.
Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin at thevoyatampabay.weebly.com. The Voice of Young America on AM 860. The Answer.
I'm Justin Austin with the VOYA. Do you like the vibe of downtown St. Pete? Wish that was in your neighborhood? Now it is. Check out Cafe 46 in North St. Pete. Great food, beer, and games with an artsy and vibrant atmosphere. Paintings from local artists. Grab morning breakfast, choose a sandwich off the lunch and dinner menu, or just have a drink and play some pool. Cafe 46, that's 6774 North 46th Avenue in St. Pete. Or check out cafeon46.com.
Ladies of Tampa Bay, are you looking for a whole new hairstyle or just want to take your current look from good to glamorous? It's time to call Tiffany. Whether it's highlights, cut, color, curls, or a wedding or special occasion, Tiffany will make your mess a masterpiece. And don't worry, guys, she does men's cuts too. Tiffany's located in North St. Pete. For an appointment, click on tiffdoeshair.com. That's tiffdoeshair.com or call 727-280-3098. tiffdoeshair.com.
Finding skilled and unskilled tradesmen can be a problem, whether it's temporary or long-term. Rose Employment Solutions handles all of your workers' comp needs while responsibly solving your staffing problems. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. And for the quality tradesmen in search of career growth, full-time hours, and multiple pay options, call Rose Employment Solutions. 813-644-5037. Learn more at rose-emp.com or just stop by their office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard in Tampa.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin by phone. Call 813-516-6851. 813-516-6851.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. We want to give a shout out to our sponsors at Cafe 46. Great food, great vibes. Just go ahead and check them out, man. You want that feeling of downtown St. Pete, but in your neighborhood, 6774 North 46th Avenue in St. Petersburg, Florida. CafeOn46.com. Just go taste one of those amazing pork quesadillas. I tell you, it'll have you hooked. Now, getting into our last segment, man, society always touches me. And I want to talk about gender pronouns. And the reason I do, because the larger issue is not transgenderism. The larger issue is not even homosexuality. The larger issue is not even them trying to force you in your speech. The larger issue is, how do you think that you are something that you aren't? And that's called gender disorder. And they want to make it seem as if that needs to be in the DSM-IV. That doesn't need to be in the medical book. We knew that as people. Remember, I was just talking about values and the value system in our last segment. Our value system already teaches us. And that's the beautiful thing is that our value system, the true value system that man has, is innate. It's innate. We have certain things that we cannot get away from that is so instinctual, that's so ingrained in us that if you do something, unless you are a complete sociopath, if you do something that is outside of your innate value system, you actually feel differently. There's a response emotionally, mentally, for those who aren't sociopaths when they do something outside of their value system. You even see it in animals. Like last night, my girl made steak. She made steak, carrots, and broccoli. And I was sitting there eating. I was eating at my computer desk, and my dog, she came up, and she know we don't beg. And so when I looked at her, she looked at the ground. She knew it was wrong. She knew it was outside of the value system that we don't beg. We don't do that. Animals have a value system. They even know this. You even know this. So with that being said, you know it doesn't even make sense. People actually have to sell you on gender pronouns. People actually have to sell you on homosexuality. You know why? You don't have to sell values to people who already have them. You're trying to sell them to those who don't have values. That those who've been rid of their values. And you know how you rid them of their values? Take the father out of the house. If you want to rid someone of values, make their father non-respectable. If you want to take the value system out of someone, take the respect out of the pulpit. If you want to just strip someone of their values, if you want to strip a country of their values, take the respect away from the president. And then once you strip them of their value system, then you can feed them whatever you want to, brother. Look at the African American community in America right now. Look at them right now. Why is it that the numbers among the African American community are what they are? They just celebrated the 50th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King, right? And just check this out. African Americans within their family were stronger when Dr. Martin Luther King was alive and prior to in those 30 years than they are today. Why? You stripped them of their value system. That's why they care about all this stuff that kills them. You think it's an accident that African Americans in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s were more collective, more economically strong collectively than they are today? Do you think that there was more leaders between the 30s and 60s than there are today that were respected on accident? No. They've been stripped of their value system by being stripped of their fathers, by being stripped of their pastors. Now look at what's happened to the rest of society. People are telling you that men are actually women and they want you to eat it, chew it, and talk about it in schools. You have no values and they know it. If you had a value system, do you really think a man could go up to your daughter and tell her she looks beautiful and her drop her panties the same night if she had a value system? Do you think someone in the gang could approach your son and tell him all these things that you'll get if you'll be a part of this gang and he is interested? You know why? Because of your value system. Your son has no values. Why do you think a kid can go and play on a video game for 5 hours at a time? Because he has no values. How do you think a woman can wear skin tight clothes also? No values. How come we have a president who is right now being faced with a sex scandal from sleeping with porn stars while he was married? Because we have no values. Do I still think Donald Trump is a good president? As president, yes. As a man, what's his values? So today we actually have to take time on this show to address gender pronouns. Well, let me tell you, there's no such thing as homosexuality. That is a sinful lust that's within man, that's within woman. If someone tells you homosexuality is real, what that is, that's an excuse for a evil that's within that man or woman. That's an excuse for them to live by a sinful desire. It's no truth to homosexuality. I believe in the good book. It says that God gave them over to their sexual lust and allowed men to lay with men. This is in Genesis. If you're a Jew, you believe it. If you're Islamic, you believe it because, of course, it's the Old Testament. But it's truth. It's truth. And we actually believe that as a society. Not just a couple of black people or a couple of white people. As a society, we actually believe that that was a sinful desire because we had a value system. Now it's the modern family, right? It's disgusting. And you wonder why people look at Americans and they say, what is going on? Your value system has been so depleted that you can go and turn on American television and see homosexuals being a part of the family. You can go to your law system right now and it'll tell you that homosexuals can adopt children. You have no values. Okay, moving on. So let's move on to this gender pronouns, right? You can't call them he or she. You can't do that. They want to take it out of man and woman out of marriage. Gender pronouns, that's disgusting. So let me tell you, let me ask you this then. So a woman has so many chromosomes. Does that matter anymore? What do you call that, right? Because they're different. So does that not exist anymore? So we're just going to take away from the fact that we have a physically different makeup. That God was so beneficent that he wanted the woman to be pure. So he allows her to actually purify her body once a month to just get out the bad stuff, right? But if you're a man that says he's a woman, how does that work? Do you bleed too? Or do you stab yourself? What do you do? Okay. It doesn't make sense. So let me ask you this, right? I guess I got to ask myself this since I'm the one talking. If you know that something doesn't make sense spiritually, it doesn't make sense physically, it doesn't make sense in any way possible, but it's being taught in the schools, it's a part of the laws, it's a part of society, what does that say? It says that you have no value system. That it says that you've been so depleted as a country, as a family, as a community, that now you have made laws to support sinful desires. I used to be addicted to pornography because that's the culture I grew up in. Before I truly found Christ, I was actually enticed by that because my value system was weak and depleted. Why is pornography even legal? Because American value system. Do you know that would have, if you said that to one of the founders, that pornography would be legal one day? Do you know what would have happened to you if you would have tried to bring that motion to the floor? And it's not because it's antiquated. It's because they had a system of values. If you told them that it would be one day where two men that are homosexuals could adopt a child, you know what they would have done to you? In any society, not just American. There was a system of values innately established within men by the Creator. Those values over time through what they call an Overton window, great book by Glenn Beck. They have showed you, they have depleted, I'm sorry, let's do it like this. Over time, they've depleted your value system. And they've brought extremes from the outside, and now you're living with those extremes. Do you think it's an accident that there's a show called Modern Family where two homosexual men are raising a child? Do you think that's accident? 50 years ago, that show would have had no chance being on TV. Do you think that's an accident? Do you think it's an accident that Canada passed a law saying that you have to use gender pronouns? Do you think it's an accident that guys are being kicked out of class because they speak the First Amendment by saying, I'm against gender pronouns, I'm against homosexuality, and then now you're being called intolerant? So we're teaching kids that we believe in the First Amendment only if it makes you feel good. Only if it comes from a liberal democratic perspective. I was really considering, I was saying, Justin, what you got to get out and speak to the young people. And someone was like, Justin, go into the schools. I can't even go into the schools, guys, because I have to tell the truth wherever I go. How can I go into the school and say, if you're a homosexual, you are someone who is sexually addicted to lust? That's it. That's it. How can I say that and not be kicked off campus? How can I say that if you are a man and you think you're a woman, you have the devil living inside your brain? You have the devil living inside your heart. You have a demon. You have a demonic spirit within you. Because that's what I'm going to say. I'll say it to the principal, superintendent, the president of the country. I don't care. If you feel that you can go from being a man to a woman, you are being possessed by a demon. If you are telling someone that they can go from a man to a woman and you haven't, that's because you're trying to sell them on bullcrap. If you're a parent right now and you tell your kids that it's okay to be gay, you're not a parent. You're the devil. Point blank, period. It's not hate mongering. Please tell me anything I've just said that's not fact. I don't care about your feelings. I don't expect you to care about mine. I want you to care about the values that we all share. That's the only, if you care about values, you can't offend me. If you have a value system, you can't offend me because we're going to agree. If you have been depleted of your value system and now you think sex is the way you define yourself. Oh, and man, this is a good point, right? You allow sex to define who you are. You like to sleep with men, so you define yourself as a homosexual. You like to sleep with women, so you define yourself as a homosexual. That's a sexual orientation. And the only reason you do it is because you got the devil living inside you. Please tell me, how can we get to this point where we are in America without having the depleted value system? That's not something that's debatable. You can't argue that. That's not something you can say, well, Justin, this is my truth. It's no such thing, bruh. Gender pronouns is the further manipulation by a certain group of people with no value system that are being moved by lust, by greed, and by the quest for ultimate power. All of this is a battle of ideas. Don't get it mistaken. You have to believe in something before you can move and act on something. It has to be something that you believe in or have value attached to. That's the whole point. These are the small things that they do, called the Overton window, to slide an extreme closer to home. You don't have to believe in transgenders. Just be courteous enough to call them der, burr, burr, fur, whatever they call themselves. It's a simple sliding of extremes. We don't have any more time. Thank you for listening. This is the Voice of Young America, Justin Austin. And please get some values.
You've been listening to The Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. The Voice of Young America relies on committed Americans like you to stand with us. If you're frustrated with the lack of real information being delivered to the next generation, then support Justin's efforts. Connect on social media, thevoyatampabay.weebly.com. Email thevoyatampabay@gmail.com. And be sure to join us next Saturday evening at 6 for the Voice of Young America here on AM 860. The Answer.